Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales podcast, episode 14. We got a special episode today with dirt late model driver the number 7, sniper chassis, late model, Ricky Weiss. Ricky, thanks for being on today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So obviously you just came off running the Dream at Eldora, obviously one of the biggest late model races of the year. You raced at Kokomo last night. Kind of tell our viewers a little bit about your the Dream experience. Obviously you came out of the B main, exciting B main finish. So tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, we had a pretty good weekend over in Eldora. It's probably one of our favorite tracks that we go to throughout the year. And, qualifying, we were okay. I think we were about ninth overall. We ended up missing the invert by about one spot. We started, I can't remember where we started in the heat. We had a decent heat and started 13th in the feature in the prelim night there and got all the way up to 6th. So we had a real good night there, and that put us in a good starting spot for the feature on Saturday. So we were able to kind of capitalize on that and just had a good run going on, in the feature. We ended up over tightening the car just a little bit. Vic was helping me a lot and just made a little bit too many adjustments and feel that we could have been probably just a little bit better in that feature. But no, we live and learn, and we got good notes for when we go back to the world. So.
Yeah, so I was, for those who maybe don't know, I was down helping Ricky with a bunch of his social media, Facebook stuff. So if you want to check out his Facebook, there's a lot of pictures and reels that I did, and I had an absolute blast hanging out with you and your guys, Ricky. It was a lot of fun. I wanted to ask you about the format for the Dream because they changed it up a bit this year, kind of splitting the field in half. What did you think of that? Did it kind of work for you guys, or do you think they maybe need to go back to the drawing board on that?
I think it has its ups and downs. The problem is if you have one bad night, then you're out for Saturday. Someone like Brandon Overton, who won his heat and the motor blew his motor, he was able to change it and benefit from that and make it all happen. But I don't know. We're there, so we might. I just feel if we're there, we might as well race. And if you have one bad night, you throw it away and you try again the next night, and they take the better of the two. But I prefer that rather than going all the way there and just kind of hanging out for a night. And I mean, we were fortunate enough to help Brad Dyer the night that we were off, so we kept pretty busy with that and supported him. So. It was fun that way, but I could see a lot of drivers, it's kind of odd sitting in the qualifying line or the heat race line and seeing all these drivers walk around that are normally, working on their cars and stuff. But I know they're always changing it. They're trying to keep the fans involved and hear a little more feedback from them. So.
Yeah, I noticed Nick Hoffman down there on, what was it? Was it the Thursday night, down changing tires in the pits and banging on fenders and stuff on cars. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, and especially with the Wednesday getting rained out, I mean, there's a lot of guys sitting around for 2 days that I wasn't a big fan of, especially somebody, you drive 6 hours like I did. I want to see the best late model guys for 4 days and not just 2. So that was a little disappointing just as a fan. But yeah, Kokomo last night. Talk a little bit about that. We were talking off camera about maybe not your best track, but you were there, so tell us about it.
Yeah, we didn't really set our expectations too high going there. That's just not really my cup of tea of a racetrack, and didn't qualify well. Just kind of missed it in qualifying, and as soon as you do that, you're constantly just chasing the track. They had a small car count. They had only one other class, and it was like back to back to back to back. So everything was a rush. I think we were done the A main feature by probably 9:00, maybe 9:30. So it was a quick show. I just like to support Barry Braun and everything he does. He's really, helped with his late model payouts and stuff like that. So he told me he was racing on Monday, and we were real close to there. So we do what we can to try to support his races, and yeah, that's why we were there. So.
And obviously, you coming originally from the Canada area and now residing in Tennessee. For the viewers that are watching that might not know, tell us how you got your first start in the dirt racing scene.
I started in Canada with the super truck and just kind of worked my way up. We ended up racing modifieds back in Winnipeg, and slowly worked our way to Wissota late model, and we ended up doing quite well. We won a couple championships there, and ended up talking with my engine builder Vic Hill, and we kind of said, what's the next step? What can we do to get better? And he just basically said, you got to get down here. There's more racing. There's more late models and bigger payouts, and that's the only way to get better. So we just kind of migrated south and came and worked out of his shop for a bit. He kind of mentored me and took me to all these tracks and helped me out a lot. And we just went from there. And that ended up migrating. We were over at Scott's shop for a while, and then over at Bulls Gap, and just ended up just needing a place, kind of centrally located down here in Tennessee that we could kind of jump all over and run some big paying events and try to get better. So.
Was there like a moment or a year, Ricky, where you're like kind of had a light switch go off? Where you're like, oh man, like I think I can do this for a living, kind of thing?
Back in 2018 was kind of our test year, just to see if we could do it, and we were going to the bigger events, the crown jewels, a little bit here and there, and after we won the North South, we kind of looked at each other and said, I think we can kind of contend with the bigger racers, and that's what we did. After in 2019, we went and ran for Rookie of the Year with the World of Outlaws, and was able to capitalize on that and stuck with them for another year or two after that. And then all these big paying events were just kind of popping up all over, and it just seemed to make more sense for our team to just kind of hit and miss on these bigger races and be able to come back to the shop and work on our stuff and try to get better.
And you mentioned the North South 100 when you won in 2018. Obviously, was a big career win for you. And then fasting forward to when you're working with Scott Bloomquist, obviously one of the greats in dirt late model racing. Would you say that you were kind of you had Scott as like a mentor? He kind of helped you get your big break with dirt late models, and then now with your sniper chassis, going on your own and doing your own chassis setups. Tell our viewers about all of that experience.
Yeah, Scott taught us a lot. I mean, I've always, said good things about him and looked up to him like a father figure. And, I mean, he really taught me everything I know about these cars, about the Bloomquist cars. And, we helped him on his stuff while we were at the shop. And, he helped us more than a lot of people even know. And we just kind of worked a deal. We really wanted to work with him and build some of his cars and get them more northern. And he just didn't really. He wanted to stick with what he had going on, and we respected that and just mutually parted ways. So I'll always thank him for what he's taught me and where he put me in this sport. And but yeah, he had a nasty wreck over at Eldora there, and glad to see he was all right coming out of that, and he'll just keep. I think they're putting another car together for this weekend, going to Smoky Mountain, so should be able to see him there.
Yeah, he said you're not going to kill me. He says I'm coming back. So that was like crowd got a pretty good kick out of that when he said that in the interview. Ricky, I didn't grow up around the late models, but I'm curious, like what kind of a decision goes into the different chassis you run? obviously there's more chassis that are, I guess, more popular than others. So what decision goes into like kind of building your own cars like that?
Like I say, we built a couple cars over at Scott's there, and it was just we just wanted to get more cars out there. The more people we can get in our cars, the more feedback we're going to get, and the better we're going to get as a team in the whole. So um, I just it wasn't. It was kind of there was a group of us that decided it was just time to try to expand and try to get more guys in our cars, and we never really intended on wanting to leave Scott's, but we just wanted to build more cars and expand further. So that that ended up leading us to where we are now, and we're slowly expanding. We're trying not to take it too quick, and the more guys we get in our car, the more feedback we're getting, the better we seem to be.
And talking about chassis, would you say, and obviously you don't have to share all your info, but as far as the Team Zero chassis versus your Sniper chassis, would you say are they pretty similar, a lot different, or they have their kind of perks? Because obviously the biggest chassis are Longhorn and Rocket. Kind of compare if there are any similarities or differences.
Yeah, our first couple that we were building, we basically based them around Scott stuff because that's what we were racing and that's what we knew, and we've tend to come off that quite a bit from where we're at now, and we're just trying to do our own thing and take our feedback that we can get and just put it back to the cars. And we got Bruce building the chassis over at Bruce Build now, and he's been a real big supporter of our Sniper chassis, and we're proud to have him build our cars. And the more we talk with him, the more feedback we get, the better we seem to be doing. So.
And you ran the World of Outlaw Tour, Rookie of the Year 2019. You're now kind of doing just a kind of a pick and choose schedule. Is that just kind of you can talk about the financial difficulties of running a series like that. But is that just kind of a financial decision just to kind of leave the tour, just kind of mostly focus on the big events, but run more locally and around there in Tennessee?
Yeah, there's so much racing going on nowadays that you just kind of pick and choose and make. You know, we've always been lacking a couple guys on our team that right now I'm the only one driving the truck up and down the road, so that plays a factor in kind of where we're going, the diesel fuel costs up and down the road, and you just right now we're just picking tracks that we kind of want to go to, the ones that we're running good at, and something that we can run good. I mean, we don't want to leave the shop going to just be a field filler to where it doesn't make sense in our pockets. Everything's so expensive now that we just got to do what we can and try to get the best finishes we can and just try to give back to our drivers. So it plays a lot with building our cars back at the shop. So we try not to go too far from the shop here because we got to come back and usually build a car or two a month. So we've been doing that, and it's been panning out pretty good. It's been keeping us busy in the shop, but once we find a few more guys, maybe we'll step out and jump on the tour or something.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because you as a sprint car fan, you see the guys in Pennsylvania that just kind of stay locally, but they can still make a lot of decent money just running in their kind of northeast neck of the woods. And I was curious to see how that kind of compared with the late model stuff because, like you said, dirt racing is massive right now around the U.S. and even local events. You see a lot of high paying races. So yeah, I was curious to get your thoughts on that. So maybe talk about some of the big events that you do plan on hitting this year.
Yeah, coming up, there's Smoky Mountain is this weekend. It's only an hour and a half from the shop. They're paying, I think it's a 15 and a 50. So we didn't get any laps there. Last time we went up there, we ended up breaking a piston in our motor. But so hopefully we can kind of go back and rebound and do a little bit better. And after that, we're going to pull out the crate car, and we have a race that we are running with Crate USA over at Tazewell. I think we start fourth in that feature as a makeup, and then we go over to 411, and they run for 10 grand as well. And then the following week after that, Vic's actually putting on a big race over at Bulls Gap Speedway, and we usually run pretty good there. We're gonna probably try to bring both cars, bring the crate car and the super car there. I think it's 50 grand to win for the super and about 10 grand to win for the crate car. So that should be kind of our whole month coming up, and we'll see how that goes and play by ear from there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of big races coming up this year. Already have a lot of really good paying dirt late model races. It seems like they're increasing first every year. Obviously, the future of dirt racing is looking really good right now for dirt racing fans. I know you were talking about Scott, and obviously there's a lot of really good drivers you're competing against. Bert, did you want to ask Ricky about some of the competition that he's stacked up against?
So the competition, it's obviously said by many drivers that it's getting way stiffer than it's been. Um, I don't know if how much pressure that puts on you, and would you say you learn a lot looking at the drivers around you and seeing what they run? Would you say that helps you at all?
Yeah, I mean, everywhere you go now, you're gonna have, like you said, the competition is really stiff. I mean, even last night, I think they had about 18 drivers, but I think 16 of them had won races throughout the year. So it makes it tough, and it makes it, a lot of people on the internet will say, "Oh, well, they only had 18 cars. It wasn't even a full field," but the cars that they did have were good. So it's tough as a driver going in and out of these races because nothing's easy anymore. But that's kind of why we've led to going to the tracks that we're good at, and again, nobody wants to go to a race that they're not going to make the feature. So yeah, I mean, looking at these guys, you tend to learn some off of these guys, but you pick the drivers that kind of have similarity in driving styles and try to see what they're doing, where they're running, and what they're going to do in races before you. So
I know it's kind of before we wrap it up, because I know Jacob will want to ask you about the sponsors that help you out. I want to ask you, because we don't mention it enough on our show either, about the people that help you out, because I got to chat with a few of the people in the pits, the guys and girls that help you out on a race to race basis. And you got a lot of awesome people helping you out. So I just wanted to let you give a chance to shout them out as well.
yeah, for sure. We've had so many supporters throughout the year. Jardine's really helped out a lot, and they're basically family to us. Dave from Turk Enterprises, my mom and dad from Derek Sandblasting, G-Man from G-Style Transport, my buddy Travis from Wiesner Mining, the Hunters from Keyway and Truck Service, LG Transport, Go Lithium, Performance Grading, Straight Ahead Ventures, Kenny Components, Dirt Car Lift, Gorsuch, RDW, my brother, RDW Recycling, Vic from Vic Hill Engines, Base Fuels, Alden Auto, Terry Carter. He's been really good to work with. He's a good friend of ours. Weir's Machine, Hoosier Tire, Penske Racing Shocks, Bucky's Transport, Walker Air Filters, Bay Headers, and we got a couple new sponsors this year: Galloping Ghost Motorsports, and the more people we bring on, we've been really pushing this year, kind of to pick up a few sponsors and make, everything's been so expensive that we just try to give back to our team and make us go up and down the road and try to get better and better. So yeah, no, that's been, without all those guys that I mentioned, and some, I know I'm missing a couple, but without them, we definitely wouldn't be able to do any of this, and we're still out there digging, trying to get a few more to fill the car, and make our lives easier, but we'll just keep plugging away and see what we can do and try to make them proud.
Definitely, for anyone watching who may own a business or a company, if you want to partner with Ricky, make sure to reach out to him on social media. Also, you mentioned about how expensive racing is. So kind of tell us, with all your supporters that you just listed off, what's your budget kind of like for running your season now that you've focused on certain racing dates in your career?
The budget's tough. I mean, really, obviously, if you pick and choose the tracks around you, that cuts fuel costs, that cuts, you know, if you go to tracks that aren't hard on tires, if you go to tracks that you run good and, let's say you win a race, well, we put that money back in the purse that pays for the tires for the next 2 nights or 3 nights. So that tends to help when you run better. But again, that's why we're kind of on a limited schedule on what we're picking and choosing there to, basically that's the goal. Every racer wants to run good. And if we can run, if we can run good tonight, then that helps for tomorrow and pays the bills for the next day. So that's just been our goal this year. So.
Well, before we conclude the show, for everyone watching, we forgot to mention in the beginning, but if you go over by Shaun's head, there's a QR code. There you go. You can find the QR code to all of Ricky Weiss's racing merch. Definitely check that out. There's some cool T-shirts
right.
Shaun has on.
It's all backwards on my. There we go.
And then definitely check that out. And then also, Bert, would you like to share your Victory Fuel code for our viewers?
Yeah, go ahead. Put in code DIRTLateNation at victoryfuel.com for a 10% discount.
All right, and we'll get to the Victory Fuel rapid fire segment, Ricky. If you've seen the show or haven't seen the show, we ask you 10 rapid fire questions. Some are racing related, some aren't. Just give us the first thing that comes to your mind, and because we like to have a little bit of fun with our guests at the end of the show, get to know them a little bit more, and try to make it a little bit fun. So here we go. What's your favorite track to race at?
Eldora.
Which racetrack has the best food?
We were actually bragging about Eldora's food this weekend. I usually don't eat much when I race, so I'm probably not the guy to ask for that. But I will say Eldora had some pretty good food on the rainy times there. We were able to go over and get a bite. So,
what's a kind of race car that you would love to try to race once?
I guess I would. The rally trucks kind of interest me. I think that would be pretty cool.
And if you had an opportunity to run any race, pavement, dirt, any kind of big race, which one would it be?
I would probably say Bristol.
All right. A little more personal now. Someone comes to visit Headingley, Manitoba. Where are you taking them?
Probably. Well, it would depend on who it would be. If we're going out to eat or if we're going out for drinks. But if we were going to eat, I would say the Keg. If we were going for drinks, I would probably take them over to the Headingley bar. So
well, I was just gonna say, if you're going to Manitoba, you're probably going to drink at some point. So, what's a snack food that you miss the most from Canada that you can't get in the U.S.?
Poutine.
What's your favorite activity away from the racetrack?
Just anything on wheels, quadding, something like that. Maybe having a fire, just something different than racing. I would have to pick one or the other.
What's your go-to post-race beverage?
Actually, that Victory Field drink is pretty good. I'd have to agree with that.
They're not paying us, so you don't have to kiss their ass.
No, I'm not lying there. It's pretty good.
What's your biggest pet peeve when you're driving your street car?
It being dirty inside.
And your favorite band or artist right now?
I don't really have one in particular, but I've been leaning towards more of the rap stuff, kind of
Whoa.
just to pump up the guys in the shop, and we've been listening to a lot of Eminem and stuff like that. But it just keeps us wide eyed and wanting to work harder. So
All right, so that's our rapid fire 10 questions. Ricky, thanks for playing along. We really enjoy doing that every week. So
yeah, sure.
Well, we definitely appreciate Ricky for being on today's podcast. Make sure to go follow him at his social media pages. And I'm Jacob Dove from Phenom Motorsports, along with Shaun Blight from Canadian Racing Tours and Robert Clements from Dirt Lake Nation. Ricky, thanks for being on episode 14 with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And like you said, just click on that link there if you need any merchandise. And I know we just went through everything, and we got a lot of brand new stuff, and there's more stuff to be coming on added on there. So go on there, go on our website at wiseracing7.com, and if you got any questions, just get a hold of me on social media, and we'll get them answered.
well, I'm sorry we couldn't get a better looking model to wear your stuff, but you're gonna have to settle for me. So all right. Thanks a lot for coming on, Ricky. Really appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
See ya.
So thanks again to Ricky for being on today's show. We always really appreciate drivers like that taking time to talk to us. We wanted to conclude our episode with our green-white checkered segment. Obviously, we came off a weekend of a lot of racing going on in the dirt world. Bert, take us away with the green flag.
Well, let's just say I did not like the dream at all. Most Davenport fans would, but no, I did not. I don't know. I feel like with it being Eldora and such a big race, I would rather have bigger fights and not go out there and lead 100 laps. I mean, you're considered the best track in the world, but you can only produce uh, basically single file racing and have somebody lead every lap. So, I mean, it just annoys the snot out of me. But congratulations to Davenport for his win. It was well expected. But yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, we won the championship on iRacing for Division 7. So that's about it for me.
And obviously, Shaun was at Eldora. Shaun, take us away with the white flag.
Yeah, so my first kind of big dirt late model event to attend in person, it was kind of, as Bert alluded to, a little anticlimactic at the end with the actual A main on Saturday. But the heat racing was great. I thought kind of the prelims were pretty good as well. Leading up to Saturday, little disappointing with the kind of the end result. Just nothing against Jonathan Davenport at all. I like him. He's a good guy. Obviously, really talented driver, but you're a little disappointed when someone dominates. But hey, it's going to happen in racing sometimes, right? But talked to a lot of drivers. Friend of the show, Spencer Hughes. I hung around him quite a bit in the pits. Just an awesome guy. Just want to reiterate that. I love Spencer. So if you're ever at a track, go say hi to him because he's a great guy. We did our pit walk last week, which was a lot of fun, talking to Max McLaughlin and then bumped into Ricky Weiss at the end. So want to thank those guys for jumping on. Yeah, other than Wednesday, the weather was awesome. The crowd was fantastic. They were really into it. And yeah, all in all, I'll be back next year, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, had a lot of fun. I didn't see any other racing because I'm camping at Eldora, so I had no Wi-Fi, no other TVs or anything. So I don't really know what else happened in the racing world, but yeah, that's okay. Sometimes you just need to kind of chill and watch racing in person. So it was a great time.
Yeah, definitely seems like you had a lot of fun. And for anyone that's watching and hasn't kept up with our Instagram posts, definitely check out on Canadian Racing Tours and Dirt Lake Nation all the pics that Shaun took. There's so many really good pics that Shaun captured at Eldora.
yeah, still going through the pictures. Took hundreds of them, so not going to be posting all of them, but yeah, definitely check them out. And if you're a driver, you want pictures, reels in the future at kind of some of these major events that I'll be attending, just send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you and work with you.
I'll go ahead and take us away with the checkered flag. Obviously, I watched the Dream every single night, and I liked all the prelim nights. Obviously, it was unfortunate with Bobby Pierce and his problems leading, and RTJ ended up getting a win. And then Devin Moran breaking the Moran curse was cool to see with the whole Moran clan there. Even all the heat races and the B main. I thought it was a great event. Obviously, Davenport kind of stunk up the show, but everything else, obviously there's a lot of time and resources that go into a race like that. So obviously it was really cool. And at the 50-50 is incredible too. Like that's something I enjoy, just watching, seeing how big the 50-50 number is. But in other news, right now, currently on my other screen, I got the high limit sprint cars at Eagle Raceway. Got the Eagle Nationals, $55,555 to win. Pretty cool number. One of the bigger paying races of the year. Gonna be cool to see who wins tonight. I'm sure we'll post about it tomorrow, but that's as far as what's racing going on. You got the Eastern Storm with USAC, and then you got Ohio Sprint Week. So definitely a lot of racing going on for people to tune in on Flow Racing for. So we definitely appreciate everyone for taking time to tune in and watch our podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, give us a follow on social media, and we'll see you guys in the next one.